A new day dawned at the Kruger Game Reserve, and park rangers Alex, Maria, and John were already on a long patrol. They had ventured too far from the main station and couldn't make it back in time for their usual lunch. The sun was scorching hot across the savannah, but the shade from a large tree offered them a brief moment of cool relief. They decided to rest under the ancient tree, taking a short break from their demanding patrol. Maria opened a water bottle, drinking slowly, while Alex wiped his brow and kept his eyes alert. The peaceful quiet was broken only by the sound of the wind and the chirping of birds. Suddenly, Alex's expression changed as he heard a strange, soft sound, like a faint moan. He immediately raised a hand to signal Maria to be quiet, then strained his ears to listen more carefully, his expression serious. The sound continued from the bushes, causing both of them to feel their hearts beat fast. They glanced at each other without a word, but they both knew something unusual was approaching. A leopard emerged from the bushes, its body covered in red, open wounds and caked in dust. Its yellow fur was ragged and patchy, showing it had been in a fierce fight. Maria stiffened, her hand unconsciously tightening on her water bottle, her eyes wide with fear and pity. Alex lowered his hand to the tranquilizer gun, his gaze never leaving the animal, ready for any danger. The strange thing was that the leopard did not roar or show any threatening behavior. It only let out weak groans, its tired eyes looking straight at them, as if asking for help. That look made Maria pause, her heart aching as she realized its pain. Alex spoke softly to Maria, his voice calm but serious. "It won't attack. Keep watching." The leopard stopped about 5 meters away, then gently lay down, breathing heavily and its body trembling. Its chest heaved violently, showing exhaustion, its eyes half closed but still trying to watch the two humans in front of it. Maria nodded slightly, understanding that the animal was not a threat but was yearning for a chance to survive. Alex took a deep breath, preparing to make the most important decision of today's patrol. The area became so quiet that only the wind and the leopard's labored breathing could be heard. Maria stared intently into its bewildered but earnest eyes, clearly feeling its weakness and despair. Alex thought quickly, then tilted his head to signal Maria to get ready because the moment to act had arrived. "We don't have much time left. If we wait, it could collapse and never wake up," he whispered. Maria nodded, her eyes never leaving the animal in order to keep it calm and not cause a panic. At that crucial moment, Alex raised the tranquilizer gun, aiming precisely at the wounded leopard's left shoulder. A small pop rang out, the tranquilizer dart shot towards the target in a split second. The leopard let out a weak groan, then its eyes slowly closed, its body collapsing to the ground. The two rangers rushed over to check, their hearts still beating rapidly with tension and anxiety. Maria breathed a sigh of relief, softly saying, "We have to bring it back immediately." Alex and Maria quickly checked its breathing and pulse. Luckily, it was still stable, although weak. The deep, bleeding wounds made both of them feel sad and sorry for its miserable situation. They used a specialized stretcher to carry the leopard onto a pickup truck equipped for animal emergencies. Maria deftly covered the wounds with clean towels, trying to minimize the risk of further infection. Alex got into the driver's seat and started the car, his eyes strained but his hands firmly on the steering wheel. On the bumpy road through the forest, they kept calling the walkie-talkie to let the veterinary center know they were coming. Maria sat next to the leopard, her hand close by, ready to help whenever it had trouble breathing. The space in the car was stuffy and tense, but the hope of saving it still burned in their hearts. Each passing minute felt like an hour, as Alex focused intensely on the road ahead. Finally, the silhouette of the Kruger Veterinary Center appeared, bringing a sense of relief that filled their hearts. When the car stopped, a team of veterinarians immediately appeared, pushing a stretcher to bring the leopard into the brightly lit clinic. An experienced doctor quickly examined it and said, "Many wounds, probably from a battle for territory." The team of doctors began to carefully disinfect each scratch and deep bite on the leopard's body. Blood oozed from the wounds, but each sturdy stitch gradually brought hope of survival. Maria stood outside, her hands clasped tightly, her eyes red with worry and pity for the other life. Alex folded his arms, his eyes glued to the scene, constantly praying for a successful treatment. After many tense hours, the doctor announced, "The treatment has been initially successful. Now we just need to monitor its recovery." The leopard was placed in a resuscitation cage with a heart and breathing monitor attached and bright lights surrounding it. At first, it was barely alive, but by the afternoon, its breathing gradually became more regular, which relieved the whole group. A day later, it woke up, its eyes tired but willing to eat some fresh meat placed next to it. Maria smiled through her tears, softly saying, "It has started to fight again." Alex put his hand on her shoulder and said in a low voice, with Alex has this hand on, "We will accompany it until it is completely healthy." The two rangers decided to visit regularly to follow every positive change in the leopard. Each day, the belief in its recovery grew stronger in both of their hearts. A week passed, the leopard's wounds had healed, and its body gradually regained strength. It was transferred to a semi-wild enclosure, which simulated the natural environment, to help it train its instincts. At first, its steps were still slow, but its eyes were less gloomy, shining with hope. Alex and Maria stood outside the fence, observing every action, their hearts filled with emotion. The doctors hid fresh meat in the grass, forcing it to pounce like a real hunter. Although it pounced slowly, it did not give up, and each attempt clearly improved its skills. With each passing day, its body became stronger, its steps more steady, and its majestic appearance returned. Maria exclaimed softly, "Look, Alex, it is really regaining its instincts." He smiled, his eyes filled with pride. "It is a warrior who never surrenders to fate." In the evening light, the leopard's figure stretched out, its shadow printed proudly on the yellow grass. The veterinarians confirmed positive progress, noting that its health recovered faster than expected. The leopard now actively ate and drank, even starting to lick its fur to keep itself clean. It asserted its small territory in the cage, a sign that its spirit was returning strongly. Alex and Maria knew for sure that the day it would be released was not far away. After a month, the wounds had completely healed, and new fur covered the old scars, looking full of life. Alex and Maria drove it to the exact place they had discovered it during their patrol that day. They opened the cage door, their eyes waiting for the first moment of freedom after long days of treatment. The leopard slowly walked out, taking a deep breath of the familiar wild prairie wind. It stopped, turned its head to look at the two rangers, its eyes lit up with a silent ray of gratitude. Maria said softly, her voice choked, "Go, return to your free world." Alex nodded, his heart filled with indescribable emotions, feeling that all the effort was worth it. The leopard dashed off, blending into the vast grasslands, its appearance strong and free. The two rangers looked at each other, a relieved smile on their radiant faces. They knew that they had just returned a precious life to nature.